this cannot be published. This actually have to stay here. The goal when we were here in December 2022 was exactly to see how much time or where are we, because we had a picture of what does an Olympic champion look like. We have a lot of data on that. And now it was to get a new picture of, okay, what does it look like after you have won Kona and 70.3? What's the picture then? What's the gap? So how do we then think that we now can bridge up that gap in between it to go back to Olympic racing again and do something that nobody have done before?
2023 was the worst year of both my career and life in general. It's not much to say about it in terms of positives. I didn't have one race where I felt happy, and it's very few training sessions where I felt like this is going the right direction. Basically everything has been a challenge this year.
The goal was obviously to qualify Gustav for the Olympics. Kristian was already qualified, and then also struggling a little bit with his inflammation in his tendon, and we are still now working on that, but we have an incredible team around us that have a lot of experience with that.
What I thought was just a kind of good excuse to finish my season early with a slight Achilles pain has been with me for almost half a year now, and for a person who's never been injured before, and I don't have no experience being injured, it's quite challenging. I don't know what the best direction to take is. I don't know what pain is good and what pain is bad.
The machinery of an elite athlete, even though Gustav is having a reduction, or let's say that he has a pain in his Achilles and he can't exercise exactly as he normally can do, he's still fitter than 99 point something in the whole world. But that last percent there is basically what you need and what differentiates you from being basically world class and world champion.
I came into the season with an understanding and like a mindset that it is a pre-Olympic year. The main task is to get the job done in order to win the Paris Olympic Games next year in 2024, and to do what I wanted to do and what I've needed to do in order to be in a position where I can defend the title. Of course, I wanted to perform a little bit better than what I did in short course this year. I didn't make it on any podiums in short course. Quite close in Hamburg with the 4th place in the super sprint distance.
Kristian was now fighting actually in the polar opposite of Ironman, which was a super sprint format that was in Hamburg in World Triathlon Series. And there actually Kristian did extremely well. He was 6 seconds from first place. So it really gave us a lot of confidence seeing that basically we were getting there.
Managed to stay on top of the PTO ranking and 3 podiums there, bronze, silver and gold. So I've been up there, some good moments in training where I've had some numbers that I've never seen before, especially on the bike. Like bike strength have really been good this summer, but also I had the mindset that in order to be happy with the 2023 season, I have to wait until Paris 24. 3 days of testing done and dusted. I would say it's been sort of surprisingly good, but like came in with a bit of expectations. I've been feeling good on the training lately, but also I knew that I haven't done too much of intensity, so I would say the numbers it's a good place to start, and it also gives me a little bit of, like, I don't need to do too much of high intensity when I'm heading up to the altitude now in O'Kane. I can do a little bit more of just base work, and then when I get down again in early December, we can sort of squeeze a little bit more on the upper end of the intensity and do more race specific sessions and more view to max. So work a little bit more on LT1, LT2, and then another big block around Christmas on race specific sessions.
As expected, basically. I am in really bad shape, but yeah, we have a lot of numbers to work from. Yeah, it went as expected, basically. This is my new bike, though. It's not exactly a giant, but it's pretty fast. So peace out. Let's go! Morocco, it's a great place. Really high altitude, 2,600 meters elevation.
The reason for why we're traveling to Morocco is, of course, that sometimes it's nice to see a little bit of a new location and be a little bit different places. Of course, we have close friends in Morocco. One thing that is also different with the Atlas Mountain or Camden, where we were staying, was also that it was at 2,620 meters, or that's where we're sleeping, which is 300 meters higher than Sierra Nevada, which is the normal location we have been at.
We wanted to build the engine. It's a great place to really like put in the winter foundation. We had to do a little bit of changes compared to what we did last year because I came out of that camp in a pretty awful shape, I would say. Not necessarily because of location or anything like that, but it's just I got sick 3 times. But we still wanted to give it a second try because it's such a nice location and the altitude is higher, and we wanted to sort of start off high with a high altitude and doing that for like 3.5 weeks. We also wanted to have an idea of how the engine system is working by using the VO2 Master. And this time around we also tried to get an idea of the calorimetry and how many calories I'm burning during the sessions and outside of the session, before dinner, after dinner, to really get a full picture of the calorimetry.
So when training at this level, of course, calories is eventually the main limitation for them to be able to train more. And of course, we know there is a very positive correlation between volume, meaning both intensity and duration, and performance. The higher the volume is, the greater the requirement also becomes to precision in everything you do. So for example, calorie uptake or intake and uptake is mandatory because said before, no velocity without power, no power without calories. And one of the things we do here, especially when we come to altitude, is that we know that calories starts to shift, especially the resting metabolic rate goes up quite significantly.
Of course, we know that one of the things that helps increase the hemoglobin mass obviously is using altitude training. We have had good experience with doing training before, even up to 2,800 meters. So we thought, okay, fine, this is very early now of the season. That's the time we really have, if we want to go high, to go to Morocco, 2,600 meters, and then already now in a month's time, in January, after we've done another round of testing here, we go to Sierra Nevada, and then we will do 2 camps there. But ultimately, before, like, the most important race now for the next year is of course the Olympics, and then we actually, the last part of it, we actually prepare at an even lower altitude, which is Font-Romeu. Simply the reason for that is that when we are early in the season, what we have done this year is that we now are trying to increase the maximum sustainable energy expenditure, create a fundament to be able to deliver even more calories per time. And we are, of course, we continue to discover new performance relationships between different markets and so.
What I really like with the partners that we are working with, and that like the sensors we're using in the lab, is that we can really utilize those sensors out in field as well. And in order to get benefit from being at such a high altitude, you do need to do intensity control. You do need to learn how the body is responding every single day, and you can't really go and like stick your finger like every 6 minutes or 5 minutes, like and then to have the MOXIE sensor on, learning how the lactate is coming up and down, like depending on the power and the MOXIE and the numbers and how much oxygen there is in the hemoglobin, is really making it way easier to actually stay exactly on the intensity that I'm planning to.
Atlas Mountains, it's very high. You can't go that high in intensity, obviously, because you're more limited in terms of oxygen rates. So that means more volume at a lower intensity. Now we have a block going to a block with more intensity, so good volume but more intensity before we go to Sierra Nevada. But that allows us to go now a little bit high intensity but still good volume. And Font-Romeu eventually will allow us almost the same intensity as racing in the Olympics, with a solid volume before we do the last prep leading into Olympics, with hopefully record setting paces.
Halfway through the camp, long ride, and yeah, you can see the ski lift in the background. That's where we're going, heading up. That's where we're staying. How's your legs in?
Really bad yesterday. Today I feel a bit more alive. And you?
It's quite nice. It's quite nice to be down at sea level-ish and feel the oxygen. And I can't wait to come home after this camp and see how the blood and the lungs and everything is working in the lab.
Now sea level, we're at 1400. 1400.
Yeah, that's sea level.
1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400. 1400
Well, Gustav, how does it feel to be back in the lab after Morocco?
You always hope to be more prepared. I've been struggling with my Achilles for an insane long time now. In Morocco, I started running a bit again, but yeah, the pain came back quite quickly. So I decided to cut the Morocco camp a bit short and go to a doctor in Germany to get a PRP treatment. So I just got a new treatment 2 days ago, so I have some pain also in my Achilles, which is not good before riding a long test. It's good to get like the testing routine in no matter what, and I couldn't really be training too much anyway, so I'm just like wasting time being in the lab, and Olav will get some good numbers he can look at. I don't expect to do much today. I'm not gonna finish the test most likely, so yeah. But it's good to be back. It's a good mood in the lab. Sadly, my Achilles is not good enough to do the bike or the run VO2 max, but the swim was surprisingly good. I had the best swim results ever.
With swim now, we are working very closely with Ørjan Madsen, one of the most famous swim coaches we have in Norway, especially with the technique and designing the program. And he's there on the deck and really helping us figuring out what we have to do, stroke and the technique and the rhythm. And I build up the sessions in order to get where we need to be fitness-wise in the water. It's been working really well, especially Gustav now is starting to swim quite fast, and also I feel myself the pace underneath race pace is pretty good and getting more efficient. So now we just have to work more specifically above race pace and getting that stroke in as well.
The swim has been what I'm struggling with the most over my whole career basically. And I said jokingly at the swim test that my swim is no longer my weakest link, but it's mostly because I can't run. But the swim is no matter what, it's getting better, and hopefully I can keep on improving it, because now I feel like everything is going more smoothly in the pool.
At the level we are at, normally you expect small changes in performance. And then it's important to have really reproducible conditions as well to be able to compare, because we do a lot of measurements outside in a lot of different conditions, but it's nice to have like a benchmark or a reference where we go back to just check that we also see the same thing there in a very controlled environment. The reason for why we are testing here in Bergen as well is because we have a large part of our team here. So we have other physiologists, we have Olympic doctors here, we have family here of course, which means a lot to us, but also we are in a laboratory with people around us. This is at the Western University of Applied Science, Høgskolen på Vestlandet. They are facilitating everything around us to give us the best possibilities to document the process. If we want to understand something more, they help acquiring the equipment needed in order to do this kind of measurements. And at the same time also, you've seen probably from this year also the testing we did in the Flume at Tenerife, top training center. We even here at the same location we are sitting in now, we had a team here that helped us actually build the prototype system for the metabolic measurements we did in the Flume there.
I'm very lucky that we have all this knowledge from before, because then I know what to aim for, where we should be when we come back. We know exactly what to work for when things are going smoothly again. But for now it's really hard to use the VO2 Master to track that I'm walking faster or whatever. It's good in the pool. It's good that I know I'm swimming much more efficient, like I'm using much less oxygen per hour speed basically. But other than that, the data, it's hard to manage at this time.
Gustav is maybe the easiest to start with, because we can't really do that much yet that involves very high intensity and a full profile on him on the bike and the run, simply also because we came just back from treatment of the Achilles. But swimming, there it's undeniably all-time high. Or simple as that. And it's not by a margin, it's actually significantly better than what it has been before. So this is extremely positive and motivating to see for Kristian. So he is significantly higher on power output, not only for the time of the year, but he is higher than he has ever been before at a time of the year where we are fairly early on and we're not pushing anything yet.
Kom on!
Jeg tror vi må ha nye ruller på labben nå. Han blåser de.
It's 102 degrees, the trainer.
Suddenly the last one become quite a bit easier when the treadmill just loosen up and I sweat powers.
This is what happens when you have an athlete that blows the machines. It's the reason why we need to work with the manufacturers, because basically we have to set new standards.
On the oxygen uptake also as well, on the power output, everything is so much higher that it's again, it's like I keep repeating myself. We are just breaking limits. We are into the unknown. We don't have any references. We just need to use common sense. Swimming, all-time high as well. Swims faster than ever before. And then on the running, I don't know where to start to put it, but he's outputting numbers that was so high that it's good that he was running faster on the treadmill and faster than what he have done before. And it's confirmed also by the oxygen measurement, but it was so ridiculously much higher that I didn't believe the numbers. I just said that, okay, nobody can publish or show any things here because before I have verified the numbers.
Today we made some fairly sensational measurements here in the laboratory. So because of that, we want to verify the whole system.
We have called a super athletic range metabolic simulator. So basically what we do with this one is it's a completely separate machine. And then we connect it to the metabolic cart, and then we basically set a certain breathing frequency and a tidal volume, and then we feed in oxygen and CO2. And then basically we know exactly how much oxygen we are feeding, for example, per minute, and how much CO2. So that means that now on the oxycon or the metabolic cart or the VO2 master, we should read out the exact same number.
This is what we want to have. We want to check that all our equipment basically is working as it should be, and it is, and then I'm very happy. This has been a good day.
But in general, I still have to absorb and sit down and look now, how are we gonna, or what consequences will this have for the next block now of training, because Kristian have truly responded exceptionally to the last block of training we had now. You see where things are heading, and yeah, it's, I have to absorb it and see what kind of consequences it will have for the plan. But this is the cool thing. This is how I learn new things all the time. You learn new things, you see how athletes are different and how they respond to the training and so on, and you get all the data to see what's the reason also possibly for why they're responding the way they are, and that's it's truly a cool project searching for peak human performance, not winning a race, but actually peak human performance. How far is it possible to push humanity?
What a waste of love.
Kom an!